that my family is from a little fishing village up in the the northeast coast of London called Ecton.
Bruce Willis stunned the world in 2022 when his family revealed a heartbreaking truth that no one saw coming. For years, he had been silently struggling with challenges that made even simple moments on set difficult. The action hero who once owned the screen began needing help to deliver lines and finish scenes. Directors noticed his confusion, but said nothing as he pushed through each role. Fans had no idea the man they idolized was battling something so personal and profound. Let's dive in what actually happened. Bruce Willis wasn't always the tough, wisecracking action hero we know today. His story begins far from the glitz of Hollywood, in a small town in West Germany, where he was born on March 19, 1955. His father, an American soldier, and his German mother moved the family to Carneys Point, New Jersey, after his dad left the military. Life wasn't easy for Willis growing up. His family was blue-collar, his mom worked at a bank, and his dad took on jobs as a welder and mechanic. As if that wasn't enough, Willis struggled with a stutter that made school a challenge. But something unexpected happened. Acting gave him a way out. Joining the drama club in high school not only boosted his confidence, but also helped him overcome his speech impediment. After high school, Willis took on all sorts of jobs, from security guard to private investigator, as he tried to figure out his path. Acting, however, remained his passion. He enrolled at Montclair State University to study drama, but dropped out to chase his dreams in New York City. There, Willis supported himself bartending while attending auditions. It was a tough grind, but small theater roles eventually led to TV opportunities. His persistence finally paid off when he landed his big break. That break came in 1985 with the TV series Moonlighting. Willis starred as the witty and charming private detective David Addison alongside Sybil Shepherd. The show was a massive hit, earning him an Emmy and making him a household name. But while Moonlighting showcased his humor and charisma, breaking into films proved tricky. Hollywood didn't see him as action hero material, especially since comedy was his main strength. When Die Hard began casting, Bruce Willis wasn't even on the studio's radar. They wanted big action stars like Arnold Schwarzenegger or Sylvester Stallone, but those actors passed on the role. Eventually, the part of John McClane landed in Willis's lap. Even then, the studio was unsure about him. Audiences knew him as the funny guy from Moonlighting, not as someone who could carry an action blockbuster. Adding to the doubts, Willis almost turned down the role due to scheduling conflicts with Moonlighting. It was only after a pause in the show's production that he agreed, earning an unheard-of $5 million paycheck for the role. Despite these hurdles, Willis made Die Hard a genre-defining hit. His portrayal of John McClane as a relatable, vulnerable everyman, complete with sharp wit and a never-give-up attitude, was a refreshing change from the muscle-bound heroes of the time. At first, the marketing team downplayed Willis's presence on posters, unsure if audiences would buy him as an action star. But when the film hit theaters, it became a massive success, and Willis's performance silenced every skeptic. The success of Die Hard launched Bruce Willis into Hollywood's stratosphere. By the 1990s, he was one of the highest-paid actors, seamlessly moving between action blockbusters and dramatic roles. Films like Pulp Fiction, 1994, proved his range, with Willis delivering a powerful performance as a boxer with a dark past. He continued to dominate the box office with hits like Armageddon, 1998, playing the quintessential American hero trying to save the world from an asteroid. While not every movie was a hit, Willis's ability to adapt kept him at the top of his game. Behind Bruce Willis's legendary tough guy roles was a man battling his own vulnerabilities. When Die Hard launched Willis into stardom, it also trapped him in a cycle of constant expectation. Hollywood demanded perfection, and Willis feared failure. The stress of living up to his A-list status led to sleepless nights and periods of heightened anxiety. To cope, he turned to alcohol at times, trying to drown out the noise of public scrutiny and his own self-doubt. But the pressure only grew, leading to moments of erratic behavior that fueled rumors about his personality. Willis's anxiety often shaped his on-set reputation. He demanded script rewrites, second-guessed directors, and insisted on multiple takes. While some saw this as arrogance, it was often his perfectionism and need for control. Acting wasn't just his job, it was his way of holding himself together. Hollywood labeled Willis as difficult, but the truth behind the label was far more complicated. His struggles with anxiety, combined with hearing loss as he aged, created challenges that many mistook for indifference. Hearing loss made it harder for him to engage during shoots, leading to frustrations on both sides. To help, Willis began using an earpiece to feed him his lines, but this adjustment sometimes caused friction with directors and co-stars. The relentless demands of Hollywood also strained Willis's personal life. His marriage to Demi Moore, once the epitome of a Hollywood power couple, crumbled under the weight of fame. Both actors had thriving careers, but the pressures of their public lives seeped into their private world. Moore's memoir revealed how Willis grappled with the idea of her working while trying to balance family life. Their divorce in 2000 marked a turning point for Willis. It forced him to reflect on how his career and struggles had impacted his relationships. Despite the separation, Willis and Moore worked hard to co-parent their daughters, often appearing together at family events. Following his divorce, Willis stepped back from the spotlight to focus on his daughters and rebuild his personal life. This phase revealed a more introspective and caring side of the actor. No longer confined by the need to prove himself, Willis embraced his role as a father and prioritized relationships over career ambitions. He and Moore's unusual closeness after their divorce became a testament to his ability to grow and adapt, even when life didn't go as planned. By 2015, Bruce Willis's career had taken a dramatic shift that left fans puzzled and saddened. The man who had once dominated the box office with his charisma and action hero wit was suddenly starring in low-budget, direct-to-video films, many of which were harshly criticized or went unnoticed. It was a strange sight to see the die-hard icon releasing as many as 7 films a year, especially when his performances seemed to lack the energy and spark that had defined his earlier roles. Critics described him as disinterested and lifeless, and his work became the target of industry jokes. The Razzie Awards even created a special category in 2021 just for Willis's performances that year, a painful reminder of how far his career had fallen. Behind the scenes, troubling reports began to emerge. During the filming of Out of Death, it became clear to Burns that Willis's cognitive abilities were significantly compromised. After just one day on set, Burns realized that the planned schedule and dialogue were too much for Willis to handle. He made the difficult decision to condense the actor's scenes, 25 pages of dialogue, into a single day of filming. This meant cutting lines, simplifying scenes, and finding ways to maintain the film's quality while accommodating Willis's needs. The logistical challenges were immense. Streamlining such a substantial portion of the script required careful planning, and the pressure to deliver a coherent, polished product in such a short time was intense. Burns described a mix of emotions, pride in completing the task, but a lingering sadness over what it meant. Willis, once a powerhouse on screen, was visibly struggling, and everyone involved felt the weight of the moment. Those who worked closely with Willis during these years have shared stories that revealed just how much the actor was struggling. On the set of Midnight in the Switchgrass, prop master Alicia Haverland recounted a moment when Willis appeared to forget he was on a movie set. During a scene in a diner, he addressed her as if she were a real waitress, seemingly unaware that they were filming. Director Jesse V. Johnson, who had known Willis for years, was shocked by the changes he saw in the actor while working on White Elephant in 2021. Johnson described Willis as lost, struggling to deliver his lines despite trying his best. Terry Martin, the film's production supervisor, later reflected on the experience, saying, "It was clear he was having difficulty. It was time for him to retire." What made this situation even more tragic was that Willis continued to take on numerous projects, despite his evident struggles. His team reportedly shortened his shooting schedules and simplified his roles to accommodate his condition, yet he kept working. To many on set, it was heartbreaking to see a beloved star grappling with such challenges while still trying to meet the demands of an industry that once celebrated him. By this point, it was clear that something deeper was affecting Willis. His struggles weren't just a matter of age or fatigue. They pointed to a debilitating condition that was taking a toll on both his career and his identity. And they were right. In 2022, Bruce Willis's family revealed a life-altering truth. The legendary actor was diagnosed with aphasia, a neurological condition that disrupts communication. For a man whose career thrived on quick-witted dialogue and commanding performances, the diagnosis was devastating. Aphasia affects speech, comprehension, reading, and writing, making it difficult to express thoughts or understand others. For Willis, it didn't just signal the end of his career, it marked the loss of a cherished part of his identity. Acting wasn't just Bruce Willis's job, it was his way of connecting with the world. From the sharp-tongued humor of Moonlighting to the everyman heroism of Die Hard, his roles required precision, charm, and charisma. As aphasia progressed, these abilities slipped away. On film sets, memory lapses became common, and Willis needed earpieces to have his lines fed to him. The decision to retire wasn't just a professional loss for Willis, it was a personal one. Acting had been his creative outlet, his passion, and a cornerstone of his identity for over 4 decades. The inability to continue wasn't just about leaving Hollywood. It was about letting go of something he loved deeply. The weight of Bruce Willis's diagnosis was shared most heavily by his family. His wife, Emma Hemming Willis, became his primary caregiver, balancing the demands of his care with raising their 2 young daughters. Emma has spoken openly about the emotional challenges, emphasizing the importance of being honest with their children. She's also taken on the role of advocate, bringing awareness to the realities of aphasia while holding the family together with remarkable strength. In this difficult time, Willis's blended family also rallied around him. His ex-wife, Demi Moore, and their 3 daughters came together with Emma's family to form a united front. In 2023, an updated diagnosis brought even more clarity to Willis's condition. Doctors revealed that he was facing frontotemporal dementia, FTD, a specific form of neurological degeneration that impacts language and behavior. For his family, this diagnosis explained the challenges he had been facing privately for years. While it confirmed the progressive nature of his condition, it also helped them understand the full scope of what they were dealing with. Over the years, the Willis-Moore-Hemming family's bond had grown deeper, forged through shared experiences and mutual support. Demi Moore's journey to sobriety had been a pivotal moment, bringing the family closer and building a foundation of empathy and understanding. When the COVID-19 pandemic forced the world into lockdown, the family made a bold choice to quarantine together in Idaho. This time of isolation became an opportunity to strengthen their connections. They leaned on one another, finding comfort and joy in their shared company. Emma Hemming, Bruce's current wife, and Demi Moore, his ex-wife, transcended traditional family roles. Moore's touching tribute to Hemming described their relationship as one of mothers united and sisters bonded on the roller coaster ride of life. This unique dynamic, built on love and mutual respect, now serves as a pillar of strength during Bruce's health battle. While the family has not disclosed the exact cause of Willis's aphasia, his decades-long career in action films raises questions about the potential risks he faced on set. One notable incident was a 2004 lawsuit against Revolution Studios, stemming from injuries Willis sustained during a pyrotechnic stunt on Tears of the Sun. A projectile struck him during the scene, causing significant harm. Though it's unclear whether this incident is linked to his current condition, it serves as a stark reminder of the physical toll action movies can take on their stars. Even as Bruce Willis retires from acting, his presence will remain on screen for a while longer. With 8 films in post-production, fans will have the chance to see him light up theaters again. A final chapter in a career that spanned over 4 decades. However, the reality is bittersweet. This cinematic legend's career is concluding, not by choice, but by the demands of his health. Growing up in a military family, he developed a deep respect for those who serve. This respect stayed with him throughout his life and career, shaping his actions in surprising and heartfelt ways. One such moment came in 2002 when Willis's 8-year-old daughter, Tallulah, had a simple but impactful idea. She suggested they send Girl Scout cookies to troops stationed overseas. Willis didn't just buy a few boxes, he purchased 12,000. The cookies were distributed to sailors aboard the USS John F. Kennedy and troops stationed across the Middle East. This act of generosity wasn't a publicity stunt, it was a deeply personal gesture rooted in his admiration for the armed forces and a desire to bring them a taste of home. A year later, in 2003, Willis went a step further. As part of a USO tour, he traveled to Iraq to perform for the troops with his band, the Accelerators. While many celebrities might have stopped at sending support from afar, Willis wanted to be there in person, bringing energy and morale to those stationed in a conflict zone. The visit left a lasting impression on him, deepening his commitment to supporting servicemen and women. Willis even considered joining the military himself during the Second Iraq War. Though his age ultimately deterred him, the thought reflects his strong sense of duty. Around this time, rumors swirled that Willis had offered a $1 million bounty for the capture of terrorist leaders like Osama bin Laden. In a 2007 Vanity Fair interview, Willis clarified that his comments were hypothetical, but the sentiment spoke to his frustration with global terrorism and his desire to make a difference. His support for the military wasn't just about grand gestures. Willis openly criticized the media for what he saw as one-sided coverage of the Iraq War. He believed the focus on death tolls and negative headlines overshadowed the good work being done by soldiers, helping rebuild infrastructure, reopening hospitals, and restoring essential services. "You don't hear any of that on the news," Willis said. "It's like spitting on these young men and women who are over there fighting to help this country." Bruce Willis's life off-screen reflects the same adventurous and versatile spirit that defined his acting career. While his iconic roles made him a household name, his entrepreneurial ventures and business interests added another fascinating dimension to his story. In addition to his Los Angeles and New Jersey homes, Willis has long kept a foothold in New York City, renting apartments in Trump Tower and Manhattan's Riverside South. But it's not just his real estate choices that reveal his unique character, it's his passion for building businesses in unexpected places. In Haley, Idaho, a small town far from the Hollywood spotlight, Willis invested in the local community by owning several establishments, including the Mint Bar and the Liberty Theater. These ventures weren't just financial moves. They reflected his desire to create spaces that brought people together. Willis's entrepreneurial spirit also extended to the world of entertainment. In 2000, he co-founded Cheyenne Enterprises, a production company, with business partner Arnold Rifkin. The company gave Willis more creative control over his projects, producing films that included Live Free or Die Hard. After the film's success, Willis stepped away from Cheyenne Enterprises in 2007, leaving Rifkin to manage it solo. His time at the company was brief but significant, showcasing his interest in working behind the camera as well as in front of it. For Willis, business wasn't limited to film or local ventures, it extended to global brands. In the 1990s, he joined forces with fellow action stars Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone as one of the founding promoters of Planet Hollywood, a chain that combined dining with a celebration of movie memorabilia. While the venture had ups and downs, Willis's involvement reflected his knack for blending his Hollywood persona with savvy business moves. Later, in 2009, Willis surprised fans by signing on as the international face of Sobieski Vodka, gaining a 3.3% ownership stake in the company. This wasn't just a standard endorsement deal, it highlighted his belief in investing in brands he truly believed in. Years later, in 2018, he became the ambassador for Hungary's Hell energy drink, once again stepping into a role that combined his star power with a sharp business acumen.